Let's first come to a comfortable seated spot. Taking a moment, notice how the breath is moving in and out of the body. Feel each breath come in through the nose, pulling deep down into the lungs, expanding into the belly, and each exhale long, slow, and complete, all the way out. Breathing in several rounds, setting up this time and space for your practice. You can circle sweep the arms up overhead, bringing hands to the heart, and set an intention for today's practice. Something simple that marks this space and time just for you, leaving the outside world behind. Slowly sweep the arms up, bringing fingertips down to the left and right side of the floor, and then bringing the right ear gently towards the right shoulder. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can use the fingertips softly across the side of your head. Then resetting, bringing the left ear over towards the left shoulder. And if you use the left hand across your head, making sure that there's no pressure, that it's just a gentle encouragement, then begin to roll the shoulders. Feel everything settle down the back. Begin to walk the fingers out behind you, rolling shoulder blades toward one another, lifting the heart high, opening up the front side of the body. Continue to breathe deeply while you're here. Reaching arms up overhead, flipping palms towards the front of your space, and then rocking from side to side, moving into the back side of the body. It can be as slow as you'd like, reaching arms back up, and then as you exhale, bringing right fingertips down to the floor and leaning over to the right side. You can begin to bring the left shoulder forward, feel that it moves a little bit more into the back, and then bring the left shoulder back, opening up again the front side, returning to center and rising all the way up. Bringing the left fingers down, mindful of your breath. Feel that each inhale is still full and each exhale still complete. Moving through the shoulders, checking in that both sides of your seat have stayed connected to the floor. And just noticing all the space coming up through the right side body, between the ribs, the space between the shoulder and the hip. Slowly begin to bring the hands together behind the back, lacing them up so the right thumb is on the outside of the pile. You can extend the arms out behind you, maybe tip the chin forward towards your chest. Sweeping arms up, we'll do this once again, this time lacing up so the left thumb is on the outside of the pile. Opening up everything along the front side, bringing the head forward, maybe slightly backward, and then releasing, bringing the arms back up, and we'll fold all the way forward. Now here you may bring your hands to the floor. Maybe you bend onto the elbows, bringing your full forearm to the floor. You can crawl both arms towards the right side. Pausing for just a moment, taking deep breaths. And then slowly walk back through center and over to the left side. And it doesn't matter how far we go, how close you come to your legs. You just want to feel that we're opening up backside, breathing deeply into the lungs and into the ribs, making your way back to center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through heart to the floor, and we'll come into our first tabletop. Balancing hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, moving through some rounds of cat-cow. Inhales can soften the belly and let it relax down to the floor. Exhales can pull the belly up, curving into the spine, bringing the chin to the chest. Going through a few rounds at a pace that feels good for you. Inhales, opening the front of the body. Exhales, rolling into the back. And then working into our first sunbird, extending right leg long behind you and the left arm forward, maybe rolling the wrist and ankle around in circles. You can begin to come back through center, shifting over, extending left leg, right arm, trying to keep the balance between your hand and knee that have stayed on the floor, trying to keep length through the whole spine. And slowly coming back, we'll make our way into child's pose. Knees can drift out a little bit wider, pressing your hips backward towards the heels of your feet. Arms could stay long, perhaps the forehead comes to the floor. Breathe while you're here. Begin to make your way back into a tabletop. This time the option for a bind. Right leg extends, left arm reaches around. If the hand and the foot find one another, we can kick up into the hand. Feel that lifts you from the point of your hip, from the point of your shoulder, and creates a nice open front line. Extending the right leg out to the side, we can push back into a variation of child's pose. Pausing for just a moment. And slowly we'll come back up, bringing the right knee back in line beneath the hip. Extending left leg, reaching around, searching for the foot. And if hand and foot do not combine here, you can just bring the hand to the hip and press the foot up towards the ceiling, still feeling a great stretch. Then slowly we'll extend the left leg out to the left side, pressing back into our variation of child's pose. Remembering to breathe while you're in child's pose, remembering that child's pose is always a place throughout your practice. That everything should always feel good in your body, and if it doesn't feel good, choose not to do it, or choose a modification. Let's make our way into our first downward facing dog. And here we can stretch out the legs, lifting heels away from the mat, pressing down one heel as you bend the opposite knee. Taking as much time in each of these spaces as you'd like, switching over whenever it feels right. Feel that the arms are long, the shoulders press up the back side. Can inhale, lift both heels and turn them towards the right side. And when you're ready, we can inhale both heels and turn them towards the left side. Keeping the head between the arms and the neck is relaxed. I'm going to slide forward into a high plank and lower all the way down gently onto your belly, moving through a few rounds of our cobra. Hands can stay beside your shoulders, arms beside your body. You can peel yourself up and away from the floor and relax back down. You can stretch arms out by your sides, fingertips pointing to the walls behind you, lifting away from the mat again. And then maybe taking the arms out wide like the letter T and lifting one final time. All of these variations are good variations. Choose whichever one feels best. From downward dog, let's walk our hands backward towards the feet, placing the fingers into the crooks of the elbows, and we can sway from side to side in Ragdoll Uttanasana. If the backs of the legs are screaming at you, go ahead, use a block, or bend the knees. Coming into a nice halfway lift, we lengthen the back side. Hands could stay on the floor, the block, or your shins. Exhale, returning to forward fold. We'll walk both hands over and towards the right side. Fingertips could reach down to the floor, or a block. If you want to hold the left hand to the right calf and wrap your right arm around your body, we can wrap everything up. Maybe even turn the gaze towards the ceiling. Pausing for just a few moments. feeling the breath, and then slowly coming back through center and begin to walk over to the left side. Feel that with each passing moment, with each passing breath, maybe you grow a little bit further into this pose. Maybe the body makes more peace with it. You find more confidence or even comfort while you're here. Just keep breathing. We'll come on back to center, nice flat back, halfway lift, and forward fold. Sweeping arms out wide to the side, we'll inhale, rise all the way up. Clasping your left wrist, we'll pull to the right side for a crescent moon stretch. Keep the weight balanced between both of your feet. Coming up through center, we'll switch the grip and pull over towards the left side. Feel that the sides body stay long and strong while we're here, standing tall, and perhaps a back bend. As you exhale, pull back elbows and shoulders. Inhale, raise those arms high. Exhale, pull back elbows and shoulders. Inhale, reach arms up high. Exhale, lace the fingers up behind the back, right thumb is on top. Lift the heart high, roll the elbows and shoulders towards one another, and on an exhale, begin to forward fold. If this feels like a far reach, go ahead, grab a strap or a towel, place it between the hands, creating a little bit of distance between the hands, but still allowing you to move into the forward fold. You can turn the head from side to side, mindful that we're not creating tension in the neck or jaw. Bend through the knees, rise all the way up, standing tall. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. And then releasing hands, we'll bring them back up overhead. And this time as they come together again, left thumb is on top of the pile, rolling everything down the back, lifting everything up the front, and on an exhale, hinging from the hips, folding forward. Checking in with how the weight feels in your feet. Trying to shift it ever so slightly forward towards the toes. Feel that the heels are gently placed against the floor. Begin to bend into the knees and then rise all the way up, standing tall. Sweep those arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart, Samastihi. Inhale, circle sweeps the arms up. Exhale, we hinge and fold forward. We'll crawl all the way out into our downward facing dog. Pausing for just a moment, feel the sits bones lifted. Breastbone passes back towards the knees. Inhale, a small lift of the right foot. You can roll the ankle and then begin to lift the right leg a little bit higher, turning up the right side of the body, bending in the knee. Begin to come back to center, and as you exhale, step the right foot through, gently placing right knee to the floor. We'll come into our modified lunge. Exhale, pulls back elbows and shoulders. Inhale, lifts arms. Exhale, feel the squeeze down the back of the body, but the open space across the front. One more time, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift. Hands can come together behind the back, right thumb on top. Maybe rolling the chin high, exposing the throat. Pausing for a moment, breathing deeply. And we'll add a twist. Left hand can come across to your right thigh. Right hand could stay at the hip or wrap around your right side. Gaze could look towards the back wall of the room. And we just pause. On your next inhale, bringing the arms up. And as the exhale brings the hands down, step out to downward facing dog. As inhale, give a little lift of the left foot, rolling the ankle. Slowly begin to bend the knee. Allow the left hip to lift high. Feel that the weight has stayed even across both of your hands and that the breath still moves freely. Re-extend the left leg and exhale, step it through. Placing your right knee gently to the floor and sweeping arms up, take a deep breath. Work to find balance while you're here in your lunge. As we move through raising and lowering the arms, pulling back and lifting up again, notice that the muscles of your legs are going to shift ever so slightly to maintain that balance for you. Try to keep the toes relaxed on your left foot. Lace up the fingers so the left thumb is on the outside, and lift the heart even higher, breathing deeper once again. Can raise the arms up and we'll move into our twists. Bringing the right arm towards the opposite thigh, and maybe wrapping your left arm around your backside. Feel that the leg behind you is trailing so that the hip is slightly forward of the knee. And on your next inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down, step back, down dog. And go through one more lunge series, taking up the right leg, bringing it forward. The option this time of a full high lunge. Back knee could stay long and lifted. Feel that the muscles of your back leg are pushing all the way down through an engaged thigh and calf towards the heel. You can slowly trace a line across the ceiling, moving in and out of our back bend. Allow your breath to be your guide in those movements. And then adding a twist here, option to work with the twist we did prior, or option to keep the arms both long and extending, reaching from front to back of the room. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down, step out, down dog. We'll raise up left foot, bringing it all the way through between the hands. Taking a deep breath in, finding yourself moving into your high lunge. Pressing into your front thigh so that the knee bends just to 90 degrees. It should stay just above the ankle and never beyond the toes. Can move in and out of the back bend, drawing a line across the ceiling. Again, working to maintain that stability and adding the twist. Continue to notice the breath, inhales and exhales, which are calming to the body. Arms reach up, hands come down. Exhale, step back, down dog. Once again, walking hands backward towards the feet, Uttanasana, forward fold. Maybe this time wrapping arms around your legs and hugging everything in just a little bit closer. We'll move into our first sets of Utkatasana. Let's bend the knees, sweep the arms all the way around, lift the chest so that the back feels long, straight, and board-like, and forward fold. Move into Utkatasana again, bending at the knees, pulling back through the sits bones so the knees stay behind the toes, forward fold. And we'll do this one more time, moving into Utkatasana. Feel that the chest is lifted as the seat is lowered, and this time inhale, rise up, back bend if you'd like. And then hands to the heart, Samastihi. Moving into that chair pose, Utkatasana, we'll add a twist. Bring your left arm across the body. The elbow could find its way to the outside of the thigh and the hands could stay pressed together at the heart center. Or you could separate the hands and take a modified version where the forearm comes to the outside of the thigh. Inhale comes back up. Exhale, we'll twist to the other side. And as you're twisting, continue to soften the toes, maybe even give them a little wiggle. Lengthen the spine. Feel that the front of the body is lifted and the back of the body is lowered. Come on back to center. Inhale, stand tall, back bend. Exhale, hinge and fold forward. Uttanasana. Can walk out into our downward facing dog. Raising the right foot high. Stepping through, we're going to come up and into a warrior 2 series of poses. Back toes turn sideways, front toes face forward. The feet look like either a letter L or a letter T. Arms are reaching out from the front to the back, and the gaze can look over the front fingers. From your warrior 2, begin to straighten the front knee. Shift the body forward so you're lengthening the sides, and tip over for triangle. Bottom arm should stay relaxed. We don't want to catch any weight in the bottom hand. Tarp arm could reach straight up towards the ceiling, and we'll rise back up, warrior 2, and sweep into a reverse warrior. Left hand can wrap around the back. It could float in the air, or it could slide down the back leg. Front knee stays locked in place. Straightening out of that front knee will come to a reverse triangle. Gaze can look up or forward. Moving through your warrior 2, and one last time, we'll come into a new place, extended side angle. Feel all the distance created from your left hand overhead, the length of your left arm, shoulder, side body, all the way down to the left foot. And then we'll come back through warrior 2 and step out to down dog. Let's raise up the left leg, stepping it forward, moving into warrior 2 on the other side. As we hold this warrior 2, continue to breathe deeply. Feel that hug that comes right around the midsection of the body. Feel that the toes are soft on the floor. As you straighten the front knee, shift forward so everything feels as long as it possibly can feel. Notice that there was a small shift in the way the energy of your thighs is working. That now as we squeeze muscles onto bones, there's a little bit of a lifting action. We'll come back through warrior 2 and into reverse warrior. Feel that the muscles along your spine that crawl up left side, right side are uplifted into this back bend, and then begin to straighten the knee, moving into a reverse triangle. Always mindful that the breath keeps moving freely. One last time, sliding into our extended side angle, stretching everything out from the outer edge of the foot to the very tips of the fingers. Breathe while you're here. And then come back, warrior 2, and exhale, hands to the mat, and step out, down dog. Sliding forward into your high plank and lowering all the way down onto your belly. Bring hands together behind the back, lacing up the fingers. Right thumb is on the outside of the pile, and begin to lift away from the floor. Feet could stay up or down, whichever feels best for you. Head is pulling away from the body in the opposite direction of everything else. Relaxing back down, gaze can look to one side or the other. And let's do this again on the other side, lacing up so the left thumb is on the outside. Pull away from the floor. Feel all of the muscles on the back side of the body working together to peel you up and lift you from the mat. Breathing while you're here. And then relaxing back down, gaze can turn to the other side. We're going to set ourselves up for a 30-second plank. Begin to bring the hands beneath the shoulders, tuck the toes. Inhale, and as you exhale, push up and away from the floor. Continue to press back through the heels of your feet and pull forward through the crown of your head. Continue to hold the abdominal muscles up nice and strong. If the hips start to make their way back down to the floor, add the knees to give a little added support. Continue to breathe. Check in with your elbows that we haven't locked those joints. Just a few more breaths, just a few more seconds while we're here. And then press into downward facing dog. We'll walk the hands backward toward the feet. And inhale, open arms and rise all the way up, bringing hands to the heart center. Setting ourselves up for standing balance. Today we'll do tree. You can bring the right foot up, open the knee to the side, and then place your right foot to the thigh, calf, or ankle. Hands could stay at the heart, arms could lift up high. You can take any variation with your hands that you'd like. And remember to set a drishti. This is our focal point that helps us to stay in this pose, in this moment. Holding for a few breaths. Feel everything rising up from the standing foot to the crown of your head, to the palms of your hands. And slowly as you exhale, hands come back to the heart. You can release and shake it all out. You may give that a shot on the other side, wiping everything clean from the mind, because this may be your good side. Taking the left foot up, opening it to the side, and placing it gently to your thigh. Finding the best placement for your hands, setting a drishti. Remembering to breathe while you're here, feel as though everything is pulling up from the floor, that gravity works in the opposite direction. Feel the sole of your foot holding you tethered to your space, and breathe. Returning hands to the heart, releasing the left foot, shaking everything out. We'll turn sideways on the mat, stepping the feet out towards left side, right side edges, and folding over into Prasarita. Here our goal is not to get our head to the floor, so if your head does come down to the floor, step those feet a little bit closer. If the floor feels very far away, use a block to place under the hands, giving you a little bit of support. Now if you're not using a block, arms can reach out to the outer sides of the legs, ankles, or even the feet. You can turn the head from side to side. We'll move into a halfway lift. Again, having a block handy for our twist. Left hand could come to the center of the block, and the right arm could begin to lift on up. As we're twisting, if you want to use your standing arm for a little bit of a tool to help drive that twist, you can place some energy into the bottom arm. Reset, come back down through the center. Halfway lift. And then we'll begin to twist to the other side. And they may not look exactly the same. They may not feel exactly the same. As the shoulders begin to look sideways, we want to try to keep the hips level and facing down. Gaze could look sideways or up. And slowly we'll come on back. Twisting a little bit lower, we can walk both hands over towards the right foot. Maybe bending into your left elbow, which is the one closer to the floor. Maybe wrapping your right arm around your back, coming a little bit further. Pausing while you're here, breathing deeply. And then releasing the bind, pausing in the center, and slowly walking over to the other side. You can reach across with your opposite arm, maybe taking hold of your leg. Maybe even bringing your new arm around your back. Gaze could look slightly up and over your shoulder, or it could look down and towards your foot. Whatever feels best. Keep breathing. Then begin to release, coming back to center. Can bring hands together behind the back. Notice which thumb is on the outside of this pile. We'll switch it up next time. Can begin to extend the elbows, rolling the arms, perhaps lifting them away from the back, maybe even bringing them all the way forward. And then releasing, we'll switch our hands around so the opposite thumb's now on top. And remember here, if the shoulders are not willing, you can always use a strap to help us go a little bit further. Releasing hands, we'll inhale, rise up. We'll move into our half pigeons, turning right toes to the right and slowly beginning to lower the body. For half pigeon, if your right side bottom is high up from the floor, you can always bring a block and give a little bit of a bolster for it to rest against. If you feel any pressure in your back knee, firm up the thigh, press a little bit more firmly through the hard part of your foot, and that will create just enough space between your knee and the floor to alleviate that pressure. You can always use a blanket underneath the knee if you want a little bit more cushioning. Feel free to stay forward in your half pigeon, or if you'd like to walk the hands by your side, maybe creating a back bend. Or even reaching back for your left foot with your left arm, and then finding a little bit of balance in a king pigeon. Remember, everything should feel good, and if it doesn't feel good, we can come back to a place that does. We don't have to do anything that doesn't work well for our bodies today. This is your practice. You do with it what you'd like. We'll make our way back into Prasarita, standing forward fold. Opening arms, will rise on up, working through Warrior Two, and then bring hands to the mat. Left foot crawls across the mat. Right leg is long behind you, and we can begin to fold forward. Now on this side, I'm showing the modified option. You can always place a block under the elbows and stay up just a little bit higher in our half pigeon. Breathing in nice and deep. Notice that with each passing breath, you can settle a little bit more comfortably into this pose. And because I did it on the other side, we'll do it on this side as well. Showing the modified option, if the floor feels far away and you'd like to come upright in your half pigeon, you can always use the blocks underneath the hands to help get you there. And then maybe moving into the bind, curling the back leg into the crook of your elbow or into the palm of your hand, and extending your front arm forward. Breathe deeply. Notice how you feel in all of the spaces. And then slowly release. We'll make our way back into one final Prasarita. Sweeping arms out wide, inhale, rise up, hands come together to the heart. We'll step feet together and roll out those shoulders, and we'll step into the center of our mat, coming down to seated. Let's start by tucking the right foot to the inside of the left thigh and then just walking forward. So here we want to feel length on both the back and the back of the left leg. Hands could bend by your side. You could use blocks if you'd like, or they could walk out to your front foot. As long as we still feel as though we're extending both the back and the leg, that both of those are being stretched out. Slowly we can bring left arm to the inside and begin to roll the right arm up and towards the ceiling, bringing a little bit of an open space. Top arm could stay extended or wrap around your back. We'll come on back and take a twist, reaching left arm high and bringing it down just above the right knee onto the thigh, looking over the shoulder and towards the wall behind you. Countering that twist, right hand comes across to the left leg, sitting up nice and tall as you're twisting, maybe even wrapping your arm around your back. We'll extend both legs forward. We'll take our first Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. If the feet feel far, you can always use a strap. Place it around the feet, holding one side in one hand, and then pulling back just as if we're pulling back on the reins of a horse. We'll begin to move on to the other side. Folding the left foot to the inside of the right thigh, first walking forward. Feeling your way through the back of the right leg. Breathing deeply while you're here. Maybe each breath gives you some new space to grow into. And the right hand can come inside of the leg, and the left arm could lift up high. Breathing while you're here. Continue to press out through the heel of your long leg, keeping all of the thigh and calf active, part of the pose. And then walking back in, we'll first take the twist, right hand towards the left thigh. Now your back hand doesn't want to do a whole lot of work. It can mark your space. Maybe it comes in close towards your bottom or a little bit out. As long as we don't feel ourselves leaning back and onto the hand behind you, we want to remind ourselves to sit up nice and tall, pressing the shoulders away from the ears and lifting the head up high as you turn it to look towards the side or back wall of the room. And then extending both legs again, seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana, Option for the strap or no strap. Hands do not have to connect with your feet. Maybe they go to your shins or your ankles. Keep on breathing while you're here. And maybe slowly softening, relaxing, letting the arms fall by your side, letting the head fall down towards your legs. Open legs out wide to the left and right sides, raising up left arms, and we'll come down right leg. Here, allow yourself a few moments. Oftentimes the first stopping point we come to is just the beginning, and if we take a few more breaths, spend a few more moments, can go a little bit further, growing a little bit deeper into this pose. And then slowly coming back up, we'll switch sides, going down the left leg. Same thing, taking time. Notice where it is that you first stop. Keep on breathing. Be patient. Be loving towards yourself. Maybe we grow a little bit further. Maybe we don't. But just spend a few moments here. No judgment. And finally coming up, can move into a forward fold. Option to bring a block, maybe that block rests beneath your forearms and we go just a little ways forward. Breathing deeply, maybe we go a little bit further, bringing forearms to the floor, or perhaps eventually crawling those arms out and bringing your body down to the mat. Feel yourself push all the way down both of the legs into the left heel, right heel of the feet. Notice if you're trying to hold the breath, and if you are, remind yourself that the breath is calming to your body. And if we are not breathing normally, the body feels as though it should panic. Can bring our legs back in and finally come on down onto your back side. Let's start by bringing both knees towards the chest. Give a little rock from side to side. Feel yourself relaxing onto the floor. And then moving into legs up the wall. Can wiggle the toes, roll the ankles. If legs up the wall feels challenging for either your legs or your back, place a small block just underneath your seat so it comes about the waistband of your pants. It shouldn't be pressing into the spine, and it shouldn't be all the way down on your bottom, but just in the middle there. Take some of the pressure away from your back and alleviate some of the strain that you feel at the backs of the legs. You can hold on to legs up the wall for a few moments. Feel free to move closer to the wall if you'd like. And we're going to first move into a half happy baby. So we can pull down the right leg as if we're trying to tuck it into our underarm. Maybe extending your left leg forward and just holding here. Feel as much of your backside connected to the floor as we can. Slowly we'll come back into the legs up the wall. We'll switch sides, reaching up for the left leg, bringing it slightly outside of the body and down by your side, extending the right leg forward and towards the floor. Pausing for a moment. Notice that there's still strength in the arms, but the head, the neck, and the shoulders are all connected to the floor, that we're not causing any strain or tension in those areas. And finally, we can come back to legs up the wall. And we'll set ourselves up for a full happy baby. Reaching up, right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot. And we'll pull both legs down by our side. Rocking from left to right, if that feels good. Or staying perfectly still if you'd like. You can bring the soles of the feet closer together. Feel that opens your knees out a little bit further to the sides. And then we'll move into a Supta Baddha Konasana. Feet can stay connected, knees can open out wide, can clasp the left hand and curve the body to the right side like a banana. Come on back, switch the grip, and we'll curve over to the left side. Allowing the weight of your legs to just fall over with the help of gravity. And then slowly come on back through center. We'll begin to extend the legs forward. Roll your arms far from your side, and we'll welcome Shavasana. So these final few moments where we just let ourselves melt into the floor, we let everything become soft and heavy. We allow all the work that we've just done to make its way through every cell, every tissue, every fiber of your being, offering you the most benefit from practicing today. Begin to stretch the arms behind the head, reaching out from one end to the other, wiggling fingers and toes, then pulling the knees towards your chest. You can roll onto the left or right side, pausing for just one final moment. Making your way all the way back up to seated. You can bring the hands to heart center. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, truth, light, and peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are the same, we are one. Namaste.